Okay, before I shut myself down for the night, cause I'm just not doing nothing probably this weekend, but staying myself at home. I'm not feeling the world. I'm not feeling people, but I watched this whole ordeal with Monique, Tyler, Oprah, and Lee Daniels because the other day, well, a couple of days ago, I saw um, a viral clip of Monique's stand up comedy and the inclusion of her stand up comedy when she was saying that Oprah, Lee, and Tyler could suck her dick. And after watching her Periscope, because I follow Monique on Periscope, which is only available for individuals with active Twitter accounts. Okay. So I watched the entirety of her Periscope video with her talk show with her husband, and I will say this. I feel like I feel like Monique feels in many senses because, as Monique said, this is a woman that a lot of people look up to and a lot of children or young ladies pretty much idealize. And she's very iconic to a lot of people. So after hearing literally straight from the horse's mouth what Oprah did to Monique, I'm appalled. You know what I'm saying? Because like Monique said, this is somebody that she looked up to. This is somebody that she admired. This is somebody that she wanted to be like. Somebody who could be considered a mentor, or, somebody that she would follow in her life. And for Monique to be put out there the way that Oprah actually did, okay, let me say this much, okay? The gist of the 1 hour video of Monique and her husband speaking on their show, Open Relationship. Okay. Monique made it very clear that first and foremost, she's unapologetic, and I stand with her on that. In retrospect to the whole situation, first and foremost, let's go back 7 years. Okay. When Monique received her Oscar for her starring role in Precious. Okay, she received that Oscar. So when she started out saying that Lee and then Oprah and then Tyler, it was a reason that she did that confirmation in threes of who can suck her dick. And I don't blame her because I feel like Monique, don't come for me. First and foremost, in retrospect to the situation with her and Lee, as far as her not mentioning that Lee was the director of Precious. First of all, I didn't even know Lee Daniels was the director of Precious. All I know is that I watched the movie. I only watched it once and I'll never watch it again. Just like For Color Girls. Very powerful, real life movies, things that happen every day in people's lives. Okay, so Lee Daniels got in his feelings because Monique did not mention him in her acceptance speech for an Oscar for Best Actress. Okay, I'm sorry, Lee, and I don't mean any disregard when I say this. You did not win an Oscar for Best Director. Monique won an Oscar for Best Actress. So what does that mean? Monique didn't necessarily have to brand you out under her acceptance speech. So I stand with her on that. You got in your feelings and you got sensitive because Monique chose not to mention you in her acceptance Oscar speech. That's how we working and functioning these days instead of congratulating people. I understand that Lee Daniels directed this movie, but his movie wouldn't have been shit without Monique starring in it. Okay. So why did she have to mention Lee Daniels in her acceptance speech for her Oscar that she won for Best Actress? Lee didn't win an Oscar for Best Director. She won an Oscar for Best Actress. Okay, moving forward. Because before I get to the meat and potatoes of my whole thought process on this thing with Monique, Lee Tyler, and Oprah, I want to start with the little people and work my way up to the big person. Okay, now we have Tyler Perry, who made a statement in retrospect to nobody wanted to see two fat black bitches discussing their issues. Well, goddamn, Tyler, you're another disappointment to me. Not just as an individual, but as a black person speaking negatively against another black person, especially a female in the industry. I get tired of seeing that. What was his purpose for saying that about these women, despite the indifference, despite what is going on between them? Why would you make such a insulting comment toward Oprah and Monique as two individuals having an indifference in the industry? Okay, that's number two. So we've knocked Lee Daniels out because he got pissy because she didn't want to mention him in her Oscars acceptance speech 7 years ago. Now we've knocked out the fact that Tyler Perry made insulting statements in retrospect to the issue that Oprah and Monique was having. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of my thoughts on this whole situation and why I stand with Monique and why I support her and how she feels about telling them to suck her dick if she had one. I watched the entire Periscope live feed the other day that Monique did in retrospect to the entire situation. I'll say maybe the first 40 minutes or so of the video that I posted on my follow page is an in-depth breakdown of what actually happens between Oprah and Monique. Now, as Monique stated in her video, she got a phone call from Oprah, who her husband, Sidney, intercepted the call, and she basically said, Oprah, Sidney, is Monique available? Which, first and foremost, is fucking rude. I don't give a damn who phone you calling for who. You always say, good evening, may I speak to? Good evening, how are you doing? May I speak to? You know what I'm saying? So that right there was a set off to me that it was going to be a difficult time and situation. But with Monique, like she said, she felt like the ooze in the eyes of, oh my gosh, it's Oprah. She was wrapped up in the gist of, this is Oprah, one of the most powerful people in the industry right now and in media right now. Oprah is the richest black woman in America right now. So with that being said, when she got the phone call, she was asked if she, excuse me, I got some notifications popping up on my live. So she was asked by Oprah if she was okay with her brother Gerald being present on Oprah's show. And if many people have followed Monique throughout the years, you would know that Gerald is actually Monique's brother who molested her. So it was the appropriate thing to do to ask Monique if she was okay with this guy being on the show or not. And, you know, basically Monique said she didn't want any parts of it. Okay, now here's where the crappy shit comes in to me. Monique was not aware or informed that her mother, her father, her other brother, and her brother who molested her were going to be on the show. Okay. So now you've brought her entire family after you had, now mind you, let me backtrack just a second into her 1 hour on-air video that she did. She had a very intimate conversation with Oprah in retrospect to, you know, different things that these women have experienced in their lives and their personal past and how they've been able to overcome and overachieve despite the life they came from, despite the family backgrounds they've come from. So you mean to tell me that this woman sat on the telephone with you for maybe an hour or so discussing personal, intimate aspects of your life and still turned around and went and got your family and put them on a talk show? Now, I respect Monique as a woman and a queen for saying she does not blame Oprah for the dysfunction of her family, which that's nobody's fault. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if you know that an individual is having a strained relationship with a family member, a friend, an associate, whoever, why would you mix that into your daytime network shows? You understand? Why would you compromise the relationship you have with this person who admires you and looks up to you Why would you compromise all of that for money, for ratings, for whatever the case may be? Because just like Sydney said, you know, he doesn't understand why it was done. And I don't think anybody ever will, despite the outcome of the entire situation. But we don't know if Oprah sold out for the ratings. We don't know if she sold out for more money. We don't know the reason why Oprah sold out on Monique. But I'm going to tell you this much, people. It's not okay to sell out on other people just to expand your platform. And Sydney made a statement that sometimes when you're scared of the machine, you will continue to do what the machine requests of you to basically keep yourself from being placed in harm's way and whatnot. So my perception of that from what Sydney had said on the video was basically maybe Oprah could be afraid of the powers that may be, which is why she continued to move forward in what she had done without telling Monique. Again, if you have built an intimate business relationship and personal relationship with an individual who looks up to you and admires you, you don't throw them under the fucking bus. This shit happens every day in life, and I closely associate with this because it has happened to me more than once, where I have placed people on a specific pedestal in my life, and their value to me and their worth to me has been something very intimate that I am willing to protect and stand my ground for and defend. You understand what I'm saying? And then they turn around and throw me under the bus or turn their backs on me. So this is why I stand with Monique on this whole situation with her, Oprah, and Tyler and Lee. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, as men in the industry, as black men in the industry, you shouldn't want to downgrade somebody else. You shouldn't want to be salty toward the next individual because you didn't get that Oscar. She got that Oscar for starring in your movie, and now you salty because they didn't mention you. Okay, that was her moment to shine. That was her moment. You could have waited for the aftermath. You could have waited for the red carpet. You never gave this woman an opportunity at any other given point in time to want to acknowledge you as the director of the movie that she starred in and won an Oscar for. You burnt that bridge before you even got an opportunity to cross that place, Lee. You don't know how the outcome of that would have been. That was Monique's moment to shine when she received her Oscar for being, you know, a very powerful actress in your film. Me personally, I don't want to deal with difficult people like that. I don't want to deal with people that do that kind of thing to other individuals because either you salty or you're just malicious. And from the outside looking in, I never actually thought these gentlemen would be like that. I never thought Oprah would be like that. I myself looked up to Oprah as a strong black woman in our society that overcame and overachieved and excelled on multiple platforms. And I do not discredit Oprah on anything she has accomplished or anything that she has done to help another life. I don't discredit her or devalue her in that sense. But what she did to Monique, she was completely out of line. And just like Monique said, instead of her flat out and accepting, and this is a problem with a lot of people, fucking arrogance, okay? Instead of her openly and accepting and acknowledging her wrong to Monique and saying, well, baby, queen, sister, bitch, cat, hoe, you know what I'm saying? I apologize to you for hurting you. She told Monique, if you feel like I've done something wrong, then I apologize. No, that's a pointless fucking apology. Basically, you saying that you don't feel like you've done anything wrong, but if I feel like you did, I'm going to go ahead and fucking apologize to appease you? No. That was an empty ass apology. It was a pointless apology. Don't apologize because that's what I want you to do. Apologize because you know that what you said and have done to me and violated me in such an intimate way was wrong. For whatever reason you did it for. So at the end of the day, Monique, baby, I commend you as a black woman, as a queen, as an entrepreneur, as a stand-up comedian, as a business operator. I commend you, baby. Stand your ground and continue to stand it because I feel exactly the way that you do. You don't sell out on the people that look up to you. You don't step on the people that admire you in life. Oprah was completely out of line. Tyler, completely out of line for calling both she and Oprah fat black bitches. Lee, most definitely out of line, because you don't take away from somebody else's moment of excellence because you didn't get the Oscar for best director. You wanted her to promote you out. You wanted her to brand you. You wanted Monique to market you in her spotlight. We understand that you were the playwright, you were the director, you were the writer behind this movie, but the movie wouldn't have been shit, and it wouldn't have made the money that it made had it not been for Monique's God-gifted talent to act based on being a comedian. So with that being said, I'm going to sign this live off, y'all, and I'm going to say it like this. Stop selling out on people. Stop selling out on people who look up to you, who admire you, who turn to you and look at you with admiration. Stop selling out on people for shit. Because at the end of the day, I don't care how big your platform becomes, and I don't care what your net worth is. When you die, you can't take none of that shit with you. But the relationships and the impact that you make on people's lives, that will last eternally. We have got to do better, people. We have got to do better.